Well, it's 11:01. We're going to get started here. Welcome to Eastern Kentucky University Football's weekly Zoom press conference. We are joined as always by head football coach Walt Wells, and we are also joined today by Maddox Marcellus and quarterback Matt Morrissey. We're going to get started with Coach Wells' opening statement, and then we'll open the floor to questions. As always, you can either message me questions in the chat or use the raised hand function. That, Coach, take it away.
All right. Appreciate everybody being here today. Looking forward to this week, but great to get our first win of the season, our first win in conference play, our first win at Roy Kidd Stadium. It was awesome to be at home. I thought we had great fan support. Really pleased with the people of Richmond and our students at EKU. The Maroon Platoon came out in full force. Just really felt an energy in the stadium, and was pleased to have that and be back in friendly confines and enjoy the fruits of being at home, which, sleeping in your own bed and all those kinds of things. I know our players enjoy that too. So really excited about how our men performed and looking forward to this week, bringing in another rival, Morehead State. The game goes way back in the OVC days, and I know Coach Kidd worked there at one point. And so it's been a great rival throughout the years. Obviously, it has not been played as much as it used to be, but it's still important to a lot of people, both here in Richmond and in Morehead and throughout the state of Kentucky. So excited to welcome them to Roy Kidd Stadium. We need another great crowd. It looks like the weather's going to cooperate with us again this week, and so excited to play their football team. They're 2-1. Done a really nice job, and had a tough task last week against going all the way out to Montana. But the 2 games before that, they did really well, and they did some really good things against Montana last week early on. So it's going to be a tough challenge for us, but we're excited about it. And with that, I'll open it up for any questions.
Michael?
So I wanted to ask, when I talked to you on Monday.
Yeah, you know me.
Said that the weather wasn't supposed to be very, very good on Monday, but what kind of dance did you do? Is there any video of you dancing?
I guess the hurricane decided to not be a hurricane bad. I shouldn't say that. I don't know. I hadn't paid attention to it, so it may have been bad on some people down in the south, but it curved around us or curved below us or whatever it did. I was very thankful to the good Lord above for not putting that out there in that first week, because last year that's what happened. We had a great crowd, and as soon as we literally toe hit the football, it started raining the whole game. And so for us, it was great to have a great night.
So Matt completes 17 passes to 10 different receivers. And I know that's been something that you've really talked about over these first few weeks is the wide receiver room. But I feel like you've got to be pleased with the guys that are stepping out there, and you're finally starting to see some cohesiveness from your quarterback to the guys he's throwing the ball to.
Right. The one thing I've never said is that we haven't had any talent in that room. Yeah. I think we do have talent in that room. It's just been the availability. And, the old great saying about Bill Belichick, your best ability is your availability. But that's what the problem we've had is them being available, and they're in the training room more than they were in practice. And so you can't get a rhythm. You can't get in flow with them. You don't understand, hey, when this coverage comes and you're running this route, I want this. And when this coverage comes and you're running the same route, I want that. You don't get the opportunities to actually go out and do that. Not at practice, not after practice, not before practice, not anytime. So I think what you're seeing is what we need to continue to happen is them continue to practice, Matt getting the reps and Matt getting the ball to those guys. And I thought he did a nice job of that. And he did a nice job of scrambling and throwing on the run. And we had some, nice balls that he threw, called back, and, some different things. But I was really pleased with Matt and really pleased with our wide receivers as far, the one thing that probably goes unnoticed is they did a really good job of blocking downfield, and we need them to continue to do that.
Yeah, one thing that I've seen a lot of people talking about following the game was how long that first half was. It seemed like it took forever to get us through. So talk about that. I mean, I know as an old ball coach, you've been seeing a lot of games at Roy Kidd Stadium. But have you ever been a part of a first half that seemed like it took 4 or 5 hours?
It seemed like forever, and we had a lot of penalties, a lot of stoppages, which stops the clock, and then both sides were throwing the ball a little bit, and there were some incompletes and some different things. And then I think there was 2 or 3, 4 reviews in the first half, and you start getting into that. We do everything we can to speed it up, and then you got the 2-minute warning now, and all, and then that stops the clock differently than it used to. And so all those things happened. Yeah, it was a long first half, but I was glad that it, we were able to get the ball and finish, with 3 points there. We should have had 7, but we finished with 3 points and won the first part of the middle 8, what I call the last 4 and the first 4 of each half. And then we got the ball back and didn't score, which was disappointing. I wanted to win the middle 8, and if we'd have done that, we could have put that thing out of reach a little earlier.
Well, last one for me. Talk about the way your defense played. I know, West Georgia, they had some quarterback issues coming into that game, but your defense played very, very well. Kyle Kelly had a good game. Maddox obviously playing well. So talk about the way your defense played to kind of, I think that might have been the most impressive part of the game, was holding an offense that was averaging over 30 points a game to just 7.
Well, it's a credit to our players, and it's a credit to our coaching staff, starting with Jake Johnson, and then bleeds out through the rest of the staff. The one thing that I thought was evident was that they were playing extremely hard. They were running to the football, and they were hitting. And those are some things that just stood out there. Then when I watched the tape, I see our corners playing really well right now. Vito and Jordan Thomas are both playing at a high level right now. Our safeties are playing at a high level right now. Both Mike Smith and Sam Robertson, and then Jaheim Ward came in and when Sam got hurt and did a nice job. So everybody's known about our front and our linebackers. Was very pleased with Gabe Stevens, because Frank Lee was out and Gabe had to pretty much go the whole game, and Braxton Baptiste came in and did some things. But the one guy linebacker that won our Player of the Week award was Braden Sullivan. And he came in and relieved some. He's our third guy, but I mean he's like a starter to us because he started last week against Western, and so I think the thing with him is he's come in, he brings a physicality and some strength and some size at that position, and so really pleased with those 3 guys, and our front has done a great job. I think Coach Mathis has come in and done some really good things with them. So yes, extremely pleased with our defense this past week and challenging them again. Be consistent in what you do. Don't be a one-hit wonder. And their quarterback made some really, really good throws. I know, they said he was hurt coming in, but I didn't see no signs of it. He ran, he threw, he did all those things, and I think he got healthy pretty well over the week. Now he may not be healthy this week, but I thought he played well, in my opinion.
Catches too a couple of different times in that game.
So what now? Yeah. Oh, he put the ball right where it needed to be a couple times, and on the touchdown they got reversed, which was a good call. His foot was out of bounds. That was a heck of a throw, and then on the one on the sidelines it got reversed. That was a heck of a throw. I mean, we had good coverage in both of those, and the ball was right where it needed to be. So he's a good player, and like you said, I was very impressed with our defense and how they played.
All right, Cameron Drummond.
Hey there, Walt. Appreciate the time as always, and congrats on the win on Saturday. I know you spoke about him a little bit post game, but what Jaylen Montgomery's been able to do, really feels like kind of a Swiss Army knife weapon for you guys in a lot of ways. I know he didn't have a ton of carries on the ground, but what he's able to do as a receiver, in kick return, I think you mentioned he's a gunner on punt returns as well. So can you kind of just talk about, his versatility and what he means to this team, given, so many different ways you can use him?
Well, I think the one thing you saw with Jaylen is his ability to run, his speed. I mean, I think he has elite speed. And the other thing that you don't know, and as you follow him and everybody else follows him, he is one heck of a human being. And he is a really good person. He's come in, and he wasn't here in the spring. He came in and he has fit in perfectly with our guys. And I'll never forget when I guess we offered him Coach Rick Stockstill, who was the head coach at Middle Tennessee, called me or let me a text or something. I can't remember what it was, but it was like, this is one heck of a guy. You are lucky to be getting him. And I'm like, hang on a second, he ain't committed yet. What's going on here? And so I went down to Andy Richmond's office, my office coordinator, and said, hey, and he's like, yeah. Yeah, well, I guess he's committed because Rick Stockstill just called me or texted me or whatever and said, we're getting one heck of a guy. Oh, okay, great. And we have. I mean, he's a good person. He understands, he's come in, he doesn't complain, he doesn't, just works. And what people don't realize is the weapon he was, on the swing pass, we'd seen some things and knew that he might be open in that package. He was wide open. Matt did a nice job and got to him quick, and he got down the field quickly. And then Daquan Stanley was doing a great job blocking. The two returns were, he's catching it and taking off with it. He wants to run it, which is a good thing. And that will increase that'll make those guys blocking want to block more, because they know they're blocking for somebody that's going to try to take it to the house. And then what people don't see is, he is he's on the kickoff team. He's one of the first ones down on the kickoff coverage team. And so him just doing all those things, I talk to our team all the time about creating value. He's created a ton of value for himself in 3 weeks that will continue to help him and when he gets in on offense.
And lastly, for me, I know we're going to talk to Matt here in a second as well, but it seemed like a lot of things opened up for you guys in the passing game as well, not only from a consistency standpoint, but getting 10 receivers to catch a pass. I know you've talked a lot about just getting reps, guys being healthy in practice, breeding, what we see in games. So I guess how much progress has just been made in that regard in the last week plus, not only getting receivers and tight ends to build that chemistry with Matt, but also what we saw on the field Saturday night with the execution part of it as well?
Well, I think you can see that we're getting them to, they're getting there and they're catching them. We've got to do a better job of catching. We had some drops. I mean, and I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just saying, I'm challenging those guys. Hey, it should make you understand when that ball comes, you better catch it, because guess what? He's got 10 or 11 other guys he can go to if you're not going to catch it. And so, I know Matt's going to go through the read and throw it where it's supposed to be, but I mean, guys, you've got a guy that wants to get you a ball. You're used to having a guy that gets you the ball in years past, and now you got a guy that can do it again. So let's get the extra work in, and I'm proud of our guys because they did that. I every day, after practice, I'll go in the locker room, get a shower, get ready, come back, and watch film, do whatever. And those guys are just now leaving 30 minutes later. So they're doing extra work to get that in, and they've got to continue to do that work. They can't rest on their laurels because we had we had some guys get some balls and we won a game. We got to continue to do that because people are going to continue to get filmed. But Matt's done a nice job. I think it's just a credit to all the hard work he's put in from spring, summer, training camp to now. And I think both our quarterbacks did that, and Matt's reaping the benefits of that right now.
All right. Coach, thank you for your time as always. Really appreciate it. And we'll now transition to quarterback Matt Morrissey. And then, Michael, if you want to start us off with some questions. Matt, can you hear us okay?
Yep, I'm good. You can hear me?
Thank you. Yep.
Matt, one thing that I noticed in the win Saturday was you got some wheels on you, man. Do you do you practice that any? Do you guys run maybe some RPOs or anything in practice? Because it looked like there was a couple of times where you did maybe handed it off and then had a fake around the end or something, where if you had kept the ball, you could have maybe broke a big one there. Is this something that you guys talk about maybe down the line adding in?
Yeah, definitely. Some of our runs, the quarterback, I have the read to pull it. So, that's something I've been, working on, just, getting better at those reads where when I need to pull it, I pull it and, making the play. And, the one pull I did have early in the game, Hunter did a good job helping me, opening up like at the start of the run.
Talk about the weapons that you have out there, and maybe specifically about Hunter, who's, just you could tell he's still trying to get back into the swing of things following his injury. Talk about that and just what you've seen from the wide receiving core, those guys out there working, just trying to get reps with you.
Yeah, I mean the receivers, it's been great just knowing that, how deep they are and, all of them want the ball and, so it's nice just knowing, whoever's out there, just make your reads and they're gonna make the play for you, whoever it is. And then, obviously getting Hunter back, he was All American and stuff, it's great having him. He's one of those tight ends who, he could just find the windows and just knows how to get open. So that's really good having.
Okay, last one for me. What was it like for you getting your first win at home for the Colonels?
Yeah, I mean, it felt great. The atmosphere was great. The fans were great. And then, obviously just celebrating with the guys, it was just, really, really pleasing. And, I'm excited for this week. Obviously, we got to, move on from that. It's a new week. And, our goal this week is to be celebrating again another win at home.
All right, Cameron Drummond now.
Hey there, Matt. Appreciate the time. Kind of along the same lines to something I'm sure you've been asked before, and what I was just asking Coach as well, but just developing that chemistry with wide receivers and how much that comes from, getting them in practice, building that relationship, and then executing what we saw on Saturday night. Just where do you feel your comfort level is at right now with your receiving core? Obviously, you spread the ball out pretty good there on Saturday.
Yeah, I'm really comfortable with them. Like I said, how deep we are. I feel like anyone out there, as long as I make my right read, they'll make the play. I just got to get the balls to them. And we've been getting our chemistry down. Reps and practice is obviously very important. And then after practice, getting catches in and throws in. Working on routes we might have missed in practice or in games, getting a couple extra reps after practice at those, so we don't miss anything.
Yeah, and just the way that the season shaped up, obviously having two really challenging FBS games to begin things, some guys may be missing the later part of summer and fall camp. How difficult has that process been, and how nice was it on Saturday night just to see it all pay off with a strong passing effort and just a strong overall offensive game for you guys?
Yeah, obviously it's been difficult at the start of the season. Those two games were not how we wanted them to go. We felt like we could have played better. And, even, we got the win this past weekend, but we still feel like as offense, we got a lot to improve on. Individually, I got a lot to improve on. And then as a whole, we got a lot to improve on. So, that's actually kind of exciting to me, though, because it just shows like, we look forward to our best balls still in front of us. So, it's exciting to look forward to that.
Yeah, and lastly for me, you 3 games into your time at EKU now, obviously there was a lot that went into the process in the off season, learning a new playbook, new chemistry with teammates. Obviously, you were voted a captain, all that stuff. So just 3 weeks into the season, how do you feel like you've settled into things, and how would you kind of assess the way that you've played quarterback at EKU thus far, heading into Morehead State?
Yeah, I feel like I'm starting to settle in a lot now. We got 3 games under my belt. I'm starting to get a lot more experience with the offense, And, as a quarterback, I feel like I still got a lot that I can improve on. And, I'm excited for the opportunities to continue to improve each week. So, I'm excited just to, I know I got a lot to improve on, and I'm excited that I get this chance to keep going.
All right, Matt, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it. And good luck this weekend. We'll now open it up for Maddox Marcellus. Maddox, you want to unmute yourself? Can you hear us okay?
Yes, sir. How we doing?
Fantastic. Michael, I'll let you start us off.
What was the nickname that we talked about on the sports show back in the summer? Strip sack Maddox? Is that what it was?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. My bad. You kind of cut out for me.
On you.
One more time. One more
Yeah,
time.
Michael, you're cutting out just a little bit.
When are we going to get one of those strip sacks? We're kind of waiting on you, man.
There we go. It's coming. It's coming. Just gotta let it happen. You know what I mean?
Talk about the way the defense played on Saturday and how it felt to be back out there for you, kind of feeling healthier now and having a big game.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the defense came out with a lot of energy. You know what I mean? We came out determined. You know what I mean? Because the first 2 weeks didn't go how we wanted it to go, but so we know we were we had more in us, and we still do. So it felt good getting the win. Felt good, getting the shutout in the second half. We won 0, but you know, we still, like Matt said, we know we got our best ball in front of us. So it felt good.
Michael, any more questions from you? Maddox, one thing that happened during the game, you guys obviously did a great job limiting a team to just 7 points. But one thing that stood out was at the end of the game, the defense kind of gets that goal line stand to force that turnover on down. Obviously, the game, out of reach, you would hope at that point and stuff like that. But you guys still kind of made a statement in getting that stuff. Was that something that you guys were talking about on the sidelines before you went out there on that drive? And can you kind of talk us through that?
Absolutely. Coach Wells, he always preaches don't watch the scoreboard. You know what I mean? Like as a defense, we kind of stand on not letting anybody score. Like always, if we're on the field, it doesn't matter what the score is. We want, we want to hold them to 0. You know what I mean? So that's kind of what I was preaching and on the sideline. That's kind of what the older guys were preaching on the sideline. Like they can't get in the end zone no matter what team it is, no matter what the score is. Like they can't get in the end zone. You know what I mean? So we weren't scoreboard watching, just going out playing football.
Yeah, and then, what's kind of been, obviously you guys start practice in earnest, you guys have meetings on Mondays and everything, but what's kind of the mentality? What are the things that you guys are focusing on ahead of Morehead State this weekend?
Just really the same things that Coach Johnson and Coach Mathis and Coach Watson just been preaching on all summer, just having energy, being disciplined, and just the same things, we went into Mississippi State with Western with, and just execute game plans, play fast, play physical, pursuit to the ball. Just nothing new going into the week. Just same stuff we've been doing.
Right. And Coach kind of touched on this earlier, but one thing that he talked about was kind of being back at home, kind of being able to stay in your own bed and feeling the crowd and the energy. How does that kind of help you guys, feed off the energy in the stands and from the student section as a defense? And how are you guys going to get ready for that this weekend?
Yeah, it feels good like making a big play and they cheer for us, you know what I mean? And instead of making a big play and it goes silent. But I mean the fans and everybody supporting us, it makes a big difference. But as a defense, whether we're away or at home, we gotta still have energy no matter what. But don't get it twisted, the fans and all the energy from the sideline, from the people that don't travel, who didn't play, like everybody that was giving us juice and giving us energy to go play, like it helps a lot. So we're looking forward to it on Saturday and every weekend.
All right. Max, thank you so much for your time. Media members, thank you for joining us here on our weekly Zoom press conference for EKU football. We should have game notes this afternoon, and we'll see you all on Saturday. Thank you.
Appreciate you guys.